Okay. Hi, guys. We are live. We are live from a different location in my apartment. I had to move to the back of the apartment, to the bedroom, because I can't make this stuff up. The scaffolding is coming down across the street, but the jackhammer is going this morning for whatever reason. They're doing something. It's always fun on Mondays, right? It's like all of us are sort of resetting on Mondays. The workers outside are in there doing their thing, and you are here, part of this training because you want to increase your business. You want to have more impact. You want to have more income. You want to have that ease and flow in your life. And you didn't get into business for yourself, not to have those things, right? Not to have all that comes with entrepreneurship, the pluses, and maybe you're stuck a little bit in the downside of things where it feels like a drag, it feels like you're always on, you don't have a break from your business, and it just feels draining. And so I really want to help empower all of you to create multi six-figure businesses that are easy to run. And if you are joining me, let me know in the chats, let me know where you're joining from, what you hope to get out of today. Today's training is focused on the 3 pricing mistakes that I see out there and how we can overcome them, how we can see the ways that they're flawed, and maybe you're doing a little bit of each, and how you can change some of that so that your business can really become more powerful. So drop your name in the chat, let me know that you're here, and I'd love for this to be interactive. I'd love to answer any questions and help you out. I'm just going to grab my notes. I'm not at my usual desk. So let's see. I can't see the comments. I definitely see people are here. Yay, okay. Hi, Alexandra. Yes, so glad that you're joining. You're all the way over in Europe. That's amazing. All right. So, yes, Alyssa's here, all the way from Oregon. You are up early. I was thinking about that this morning. I was curling my hair and I was like, I hope I picked the right time zone because I do have my peeps on the West Coast. But it's funny because I've seen other coaches do like surveys to be like, should you come in do you want to start at 10 or should we start at like 1? I think like Jamie, who is supposed to be here today, she just emailed me before and was like, I'm so excited to be here. She runs something that she gets a morning time and an afternoon time, and somehow she says that the West Coasters always pick the morning time anyway. So I guess you guys like getting up, getting at it before the day starts with the training. So awesome. So glad that you guys are here. So we are going to be talking today about some pricing mistakes, and I have seen these now for years because I started my journey before I even started my business. I invested in coaching, and it was a group style coaching. So I had a lot of other coaches, about 60 or so, that I got to see the back ends of their businesses. Not just coaches, other practitioners and creatives and other people offering consulting services. And got to see a lot of these types of mistakes and the impact that they are having on not just your business, but then your life. Because if your business isn't doing well, it really creates a stressful impact on your life. You don't have a team that you can hire and support. You can be stressed about money all the time. You can feel like you can never kind of turn off. You always have to be, on and chasing mode and like looking for the next way to grow your business, the next client, the next opportunity. So it's a lot of like your energy that's out there and it's not pulling it back here. And so I'm hoping that by identifying these 3 mistakes and helping you to shift out of them, that it really helps not just your business, but your life as well. So let's talk about what are the 3 mistakes overall so that you guys understand what we're going to chat about today. The 3, I've bucketed them down into 3 buckets, right? So one is what I call the mentor model. So you're following a model that your mentor gave you. It's a very old school way of doing business these days, and it just leaves you hitting a wall. And I'll go into much more detail in a few minutes about it. The next one is called the pricing fixation. So it's when you are just fixated so much on the price and you play around with the price, and that's like all you're really zeroed in on. And when you're zeroed in on that, that's where your clients are ending up zeroing in on. And so it's really like all about the money, and it's not about the value and the transformation and the way that you impact somebody's life. And then the third one is that it's just too low. I keep seeing it over and over again. Everybody's underpricing themselves. Everybody's like has all of this value that they can bring to the table. They've got all these certifications and gifts and transformation that they've given to people and impacts on people's businesses and lives. And yet they're like lowballing everything, right? And it's gonna be Jackie from New Jersey, right? They're lowballing it. Stop it. Right? So we're going to go into why it's not only beneficial for you to raise your prices, it's really beneficial for your clients. And it's not just this thing where we just are like, oh, well, I'm at, $1,900 and I'm going to just double my prices and go to 4,000. That's not how it works. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm not asking you to just like pick a higher number out of thin air. There's a whole process to it that feels really good for you. It feels really in integrity and in alignment. And it has you, as my clients say, like when they show up to their enrollment calls, I stopped calling them sales calls, guys. You're not selling anything. You're enrolling people, because by the time they go through the process that I end up teaching, where they really have a clear understanding of what you do, and there's a whole pre-enrollment process, they are ready to go when they are on that call with you. So I call them enrollment calls, but these enrollment calls for my clients feel really, really good. They love them. They're like, oh my God, dream client. It's a conversation. It's so much more like free flowing. It's all about the value and like what you're going to do together in that container. And the person's like super committed and dialed in that like everyone's like, they don't even object about the money. And I'm like, yeah, because you haven't made it about the money. You've made it about the value. So we're going to go through all three of those in a little bit more detail today. All right. Just drop in the chat if you're with me and you are excited to go in depth with all of those things. If you don't know me well and you just came into the Facebook group, I am in here a lot, I think, on videos, always trying to convey some value and help all of you. But I'm Jackie Simic, and I do next level power activation for women in business. I am really dialed in on the mindset shift that needs to happen so that you can become the CEO of your business. Getting out of the weeds, getting out of the day-to-day and being overwhelmed all the time. It really is a mindset shift. It's a different way of looking at your business. It's a different way of showing up. And I do the mindset shifting through the body. It's very embodied through the nervous system and through the muscle memory of the body, using a lot of EFT for like healing and really going to the root of where these beliefs came from. Lots of money mindset beliefs that need to be broken and dispelled and like let go of, and stepping forward in a new way of looking at things with abundance and not just like scarcity and that rigidness that keeps you stuck. And that's what I see a lot when clients come and find me. They're like, they haven't even hit the 10K, and I'm like, awesome, don't worry, we're going for multiples of 6. So if you are sitting around $5,000, $8,000, this training is for you. Multiple 6 figures is literally a few decisions away. It's not something that you need to rewrite all of your entire business, scrap the entire strategy, become a different person, hire 10 people, do the Facebook ads, look like Tony Robbins. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Being multi 6 figures is so much more accessible than you actually think. So it is an internal shift that happens, and then it's pairing it with really high-end, dialed-in strategy that just works to support you in a really elegant way, and upgrading your systems and back office a little bit. Again, not a huge investment. It's little tweaks here and there to the process that you probably are already doing for the most part. But these tweaks just end up kind of quantum leaping stuff, exponentially helping things out. So let's talk about pricing today, which is just one of the small pieces of the entire like formula that I teach that ends up creating multi-6 businesses. All right, so let's dive in and let's talk about the first one that I talked about, which is the mentor model. All right, so if you are I see this one a lot. If you are a practitioner, I'm standing today, so I'm going to be a little bit more movement today. If you are a practitioner, if you are a coach, if you are a freelancer, if you are, especially I see this with people who are we're social workers and they're trying to like move from like a private practice into coaching. So we see this a lot. It's our mentors, the people who have taught us, who have like given us the tools to be a Reiki practitioner or to be an EFT practitioner, or to design, websites, or whatever it is that you're doing. It's the person who mentored you. A lot of times they themselves don't really have the business skills, right? So their own businesses are not really thriving, and yet they're the person that you're taking the business pricing advice from. And so what the old school model is, if they're your mentor, chances are they're probably operating from a very old school model, which is trading dollars for time, right? And what that does is at some point you are going to overwork the shit out of yourself, because that's the only way to make more money, is to just work more. There's a cap to it. There's a ceiling. It doesn't work that way. And I see this trading dollars for hours on a micro level, I see it on a macro level, and I see it in the marketing process. So let me talk about each one of those. So micro level, literally just being like, hey, it's $60 for a session with me. It's $60 for a Reiki session. That's exactly how one of my clients came to me. She was like, my mentor who taught me Reiki is telling me that I can only charge $60 a session. She says, like, I can't do more than that. And she's like, I know that what I do is so much more valuable than that. I know that that it's like transformational to people's lives, and it's worth more than $60. And so, she trained with me and like redid her back end, and now like she is charging, it's I think $3,000 for 3 months in a whole program. Again, I told you guys, it's not just pulling this out of the air. There's a whole system that goes to it. And so that is very much in integrity with the transformation that she could provide now. So you can imagine how her business is going to look when she's able to work with somebody for $3,000 inside of a committed container versus like $60 per session. So that is like the micro level, is just doing individual sessions. And it takes a lot of work, guys, because every single time you've got to take the payment from the person. You've got to find a spot on the calendar, or they like have to find a spot. Your weeks are like unpredictable. You don't know like how many clients are coming in. And so the next like baby step up, the macro level of this that I see, is when people are like, I'll sell packages. And they're like, I'll sell 3 Reiki sessions or 10 Reiki sessions, or, coaching sessions, or whatever it is. Again, it's an exchange of the product for money, right? The time for money. And it doesn't help the situation anymore. You're just kind of alleviating a little bit of being able to foresee the income that's coming in, right? So you're like, okay, instead of $60, maybe I'm going to get 300 for 3 sessions or something like that, or 5 sessions, or whatever it is that you're pricing for. So more on a macro level. Or I see it being like, you get 3 months with me, right? So they're like, it's 3 months for, I don't know, whatever. They're 3 months for $2,000. Again, it's like, the $2,000 is a little bit of a step up, of course, but you're not helping the person by saying like it's a time to money. They're not going to get that. That's not going to be like valuable to them. It's like a very like rigid exchange. And I see this also in marketing, right? This dollar for time exchange that happens. And what I mean is, I have people that I know that are in my circle that are amazing coaches. And what they do is they make a promise that says you will get back your investment in the time that we're together. And so that's another time for money exchange that I see happening, which does not work, because you're actually selling yourself way short on that one. If you are doing something where like you're helping somebody change something that, like say this is like business coaching, right? So they're doing something where they change something within their business that they should see a return on their investment within the, say, 90 days that they work with you. What happens after the 90 days? They're still continuing to use the things that you help them develop. If you help them like lay the whole foundation of their program or their offering or their business, and they sell their first client and they make back their investment with you, well, they're not just making back that investment, they're making that investment over and over and over again past that 90 days. And so that is really the value of what you are providing them. So to tell them like, I priced it, at $3,000 because you're going to make $3,000 while you're with me, that's really selling yourself short. It's the transformation that you are providing is way bigger than that, okay? So the only time that I want you guys looking at dollars versus time is when you actually help somebody save time, right? So that you can talk about. You can talk about that in your marketing and be like, look, we collapse timelines. I help you to solve this problem way quicker than you would on your own. I can deliver this transformation in less time. That's when something is valuable. So that's the only time I want you thinking about time versus money. Back to this investment, like getting your investment back. Like if you guys are like, oh, it's worth the investment because you're going to make this money back in 3 months that we're together. That's not an investment. All right? Take it from me. I worked in investing for 15 years. That is not an investment that I would make. That is called a checking account. That is literally like putting money in and out of something. An investment is something that you make a good return on, right? So you guys have to start thinking about your products and your offerings as real investments for people that are signing up with you. Really getting into the idea that they are going to make multiples of what they're investing with you, right? So if somebody comes and works with me and I'm working doing EFT and I'm really helping them heal at the root of their limiting beliefs and some of their traumas from childhood, and they're feeling like a different person, they're feeling confident, they're stepping forward, and then I'm giving them strategy that they can do over and over and over again, that's something that's going to serve them for the next 10, 20 years of their business, the next 40, 50 years of their life. That is what we need to look at when we are pricing. It's not just what's happening within that container of time. All right, let me know how this is hitting for you guys. So those are all of my insights about the mentor model. It just doesn't work, and you need to start taking advice from business coaches, not from your mentors. They're great for techniques. They're great for like, oh, how do I do this NLP thing? How do I design this? How do I program the back end of this website or something like that? That is what mentors are for. Do not take business advice for them unless they are like the greatest business coach ever. And even then, they may not be in a position to really convey it or empower you to do it. I just saw this happen with one of my friends. She's a theta healer. She works with the Theta Healing Center, one of them in New York, and they run their own business, right? It's a brick and mortar that they've been around for 20 years. And yeah, they have a lot of students. They're doing well. Is that the person, though, the woman who runs the center? Is that the person you want to take business advice from when you're just starting out in 2020, when there's social media, when there's the internet, when you're not a brick and mortar? That's not the person that's going to be in the best position to empower you with the actual strategy that's going to work in this day and time. So, be really careful about who you're taking business advice from. Awesome. So you guys are definitely getting the transformation. I see it in the comments. Alexandria says, yep, you give them lifelong transformation, extreme value, you can't calculate that in hours. Awesome. Okay, so let's move on to the second mistake that I see, which is, I call it pricing fixation, right? It's like oral fixation, but it's pricing fixation. It's like all of your energy is wrapped up in what am I going to charge? And you lose sight of the value. You're like, oh my gosh, I want to do all this. I want to like do this transformation. I want to like give this information over. I want to like leave this person with this like powerful platform for their business or whatever it is. And then you start to think about, well, what should that cost? And what is the market charging? And how am I going to look in the market? And what are they going to think of it? And then you start playing with the prices. All right. So literally I have seen stuff like $5,555, $5,555. Okay, great, I get it, it's cute, like you're into numerology. But what it does psychologically is it makes somebody like stop and like notice the price more than they should. Right? They're like, wait, why would she charge $5,555? Like it's just like, it just becomes a bigger thing than it needs to be. The other thing that we see a lot of is the $997, right? $997. It's like, please stop treating yourself like you are the dollar store and it's like a 99-cent store, right? Like that is what I think of in these pricing. This pricing conveys this psychologically that you are like cheap and you are competing on price. That is what it's doing psychologically to people. So stop being $997 or $1997 or $2997. You're not fooling anyone, right? Just be bold, stand behind the value of what you're doing, and be like, it's $2,000. That's it. Like, it's not $3 less. Like, that didn't do anything except for make them like zero in on the price and feel like, okay, like that's weird. You're like everybody else. Just be really confident about what your value is. Because again, guys, it's not about the money. It's not really about the price if you do a good job. And other things, like the other time I see it is like $16.50. Why 50 extra dollars? This is just weird, right? And yes, I've had coaches in the past be like, oh, if the number's too round, then it will look like you didn't go through your offering and be like, okay, this piece of what I like, say, we'll just use my business for an example. Okay, I'm doing 5 EFT sessions and normally those are 300 each. So I will, okay, that's 1,500, 5 times 3. And then I'm going to add in the strategy and that's worth, 1,500. Okay, I'll add that together and it'll be 3,000. And then, oh, there's the mentor calls and those would be like $50 each. And there's like 4 of those. And then you start to like build everything up based on the price. Like, honestly, who gives a shit? Your client or your potential client who's enrolling with you is not going to like do that or care. This is not a webinar. You're not like stacking a price and making these like things that are like, this is worth this much and oh my God, and then you save $2,000. So just be really confident, pick a round number that makes sense. This is something that I help people do. And again, it's not out of thin air. We'll talk about a little bit more about it in a second, about how you actually get there with what is the right price for you. But this whole pricing fixation, this idea that like you're so dialed in on the price and you're playing with it and you're kind of like massaging the price a bit, it shows like where your focus is. And when your focus is on the price, you can't convey the value. And then your client is only zeroed in on the price. And then they're automatically going to be like, this is too expensive, or I don't see the return on investment. I don't see the value of what you're providing here. And when I teach the whole timeline of how you take somebody who doesn't know you and how you market what it is that you do and how you communicate about your offer and how you take somebody through the pre-enrollment process and the enrollment call, of all of that time, right? You think about how much time you guys are spending each week putting up posts on social media, marketing yourself, going on podcasts, blogs, all of the things. All of that time, it really, for the price, it boils down to like a minute. Not even, right? How long does it take you to say, I want everyone at home who's watching, say out loud right now, the investment in working with me is whatever it is for you. It's 3,000, it's 5,000, it's 8,000. That took 10 seconds. That's how like much time is really spent on the price. So that is the same thing that I want you guys to realize, that it's not about the price. It's about everything else around it. That's just such a small piece of the exchange, right? That's just the medium of the exchange. It's all of the value that's being transferred from you to the client. All right, let me know if that hit for you guys, if you are going to be changing anything with your offering, with the way you're pricing things, and really getting into. If there's any questions, let me know, of course. Happy to answer them while we're here. All right. I know there's always like a little bit of a delay in the comments coming through, so I am just going to hang for a second and see if everyone is all right. Oof. I am like sweating because the air conditioner is in the front of the house, but it's also not on because I had to get a new air conditioner. The other one was a little bit on the fritz. And even though I got the same voltage, it's been kicking out the fuse when I start to use other things that are plugged into the same outlet. And guess what else is plugged into the same outlet? The Wi-Fi. So I was like, all right, let's just be safe on this call, on this training, and make sure the Wi-Fi is connected the entire time that I'm here. All right, so I will be a little sweaty, but I'll be here. All right, Alyssa's good on the insights. Awesome. Okay. All right, so last piece, guys. The prices that you are probably putting out into the market are just too damn low. I'm just going to say it. First off, like you guys probably don't even know what's really happening in the market because what you're seeing out there, like when you have prices that are accessible to you, meaning like you can see a Facebook ad, click through and see the price, that price is for a program that is probably pre-recorded, has very limited one-to-many, like coach to 20 students, live time. There's probably no one-on-one time in it. And they're priced to so that like they're priced at that $9.97 they're or lower $4.97 whatever, and what they're doing is they're priced at somebody who to pull out their credit card and transact in that moment. All right, so that's not what I am teach or condone or encourage for my clients who want to have multi six figure businesses, because that requires that type of timeline where like, you know, it goes from a Facebook ad to a sales page to a person pulling out their credit card and enrolling in something. That's a different level of, I don't want to say level because I think you guys are all at the same level. Like you guys are all doing amazing work. It's a different business model. It's a business model that has a big following already. It's a business model where there's dollars to be spent on ads, and it's a business model, yeah, that is really works upon volume, right? And so if you are, you know, in that 5 to 8K a month, you're probably doing one-on-one work or one to a small group, or my favorite, which is a hybrid model where you have some one-on-one time and then you have a group, so you've got some nice community going, and you can like have accountability with each other and stuff like that. There's like extra benefits to it. So what you think is what's the market is not really the market. It's just the part of the market that you actually can see. Anything else that is out there that is high end or one-on-one, that's going to be a process that involves a sales call or an enrollment call, and you're not going to see the prices publicly. So if you think that you're too expensive because you're comparing yourself to the $9.97 stuff, it's probably not even true. There are a whole bunch of people out there who, like myself, after doing 2 big group programs and not getting too much out of them, was looking for a one-on-one coach and knew that the investment level was going to be, like I gave my coach, $10,000. And it has proven to be an amazing investment because I have returned my money, 5, 6 times already. And so do not compare yourself to other people when you are trying to price your stuff. The reality is, I say this, and some of my clients are on here, so you've heard me say it before, we all run the same businesses, right? We all, like within this business model, we are on email, we are on Zoom calls, we are providing transformation, we are working with our clients one-on-one, we're delivering a product or service that they're going to use. And it's up to you whether you want to be a $997 coach or you want to be a $5,000 to $10,000 coach. It's the same exact processes. It's your decision and your willingness to raise your money consciousness, raise your self-worth, really feel into the value of what you're providing, believe in it, stand behind it, and be able to sell it and communicate it to a prospective client, and then deliver the shit out of it, right? And that's up to you. So you get to choose, where do you want to show up? But just remember, you're going to be doing the same thing every day. And it's a lot easier to close 2 clients that are high-end clients each month than it is to close, 5 to 6 clients that are on the lower tier of pricing. So it's up to you to decide where you want to go. Again, this is not something that you just pull out of the air. You're not just like, oh, I'm going to double my prices and we're done. That's not how it works. That's not in integrity. Really, you have to start from the point of, let's go back to basics. Like, you're an entrepreneur. Like, you're here to solve a problem for people. There's something in the world that needs a solution, and you have it. Maybe you're a light worker, and I say, like, I think that we are all light workers. I think if you're in this group, you're a light worker. And everyone has different mediums of being a light worker. I was just walking home from the coffee shop, and this woman with a walker flagged down a cab, And the cab driver got out. He jumped out right away. He was helping her into the car. He's a light worker, you know. He's a cab driver, but he's helping somebody improve their day and having an impact on the world, making the world a better place. And I think that's what every one of you are here doing, and the world needs you right now more than ever. Everything is getting dismantled so that it can be rebuilt. And I really believe that light workers are part of the rebuilding of what we want this world to look like. And if we're going to do that and we're going to be part of the leadership that does that, we need to make good money to actually impact that change and put that out there. And it's not just for us, it's for our clients, and then it's for the ways that our businesses can grow and then impact the world in a bigger way, impact who we're hiring, our hiring decisions, giving opportunities to people that may not get those opportunities within the current constructs. All right, I went on a tangent, but stay with me. All right. So I want you guys, sometimes when you are looking at your pricing and you feel like it's too low, and you're like, oh, well, this is the cost that it is to me to deliver this, right? Again, it's like, oh, this is like my rate per hour, or this is how much a session on the market would be. And so then you start to cobble it together. And so it's not really about the cost to you. Of course, like, I don't want you like selling something for $5,000 and then giving somebody like 40 hours a month. That just doesn't make any sense, right? Because then you've capped yourself out. But really getting out of that mindset of what does it cost you to deliver this, and getting into the mindset of what does it cost a client to not solve this problem. All right, I'm going to say that again. Getting out of the mindset of what does this cost me to deliver, and getting more into the mindset of what does this cost a client, a potential client, to not have this problem solved by you in the way that you do it that's better than anybody else, which is what you have to believe. All right? So this is where that comes into the marketing. This is where that comes into designing the offer. How do you solve this problem for somebody? And then how do you talk about that offer? And again, I want to say that it's not an overhaul. Chances are, I know who's like on this call, chances are you're doing a lot of this stuff already, but it takes tweaks here and there for it to just exponentially have results, right? It just, I know Diana's on here and she took my one-day business accelerator. She said after she attended that, all her discovery calls were really different. So she was having discovery calls before, but they changed in their impact and the way that they felt afterwards. So it's tweaks, it's not overhauls. And so getting comfortable and knowing how to market, how to talk about your offer and the problem that you solve and the cost that it is to a client, and what their life can look like afterwards in your marketing, and doing that in a way that really supports people being like, hey, I need that, like self-raising their hand and coming in. This happens all the time with my clients. They start to do the tweaks that I teach them, and all of a sudden they've got, one post and they have 2 discovery calls. Another post, they have another discovery call. This is exactly what happened for me. Started making these changes, and within 2 weeks I had 15 discovery calls. All the people that are sort of hanging around and know that you're an expert, but they don't really see how you can help them, you have the language to call them in, and that's something that I teach people. And then how you actually enroll them into working with you and really making a high-end investment in themselves is a process. It's like, again, how you talk about what you do in the enrollment call, really focusing on the value, focusing on your, not process of transformation, but like what you do and why it's so beneficial to the client so that they can achieve all of these things. And again, I empower my clients with a script, but it never feels like it's boxing them in. It feels like a tool that allows them to show up more like themselves. And I hear that over and over again about how enjoyable the calls are, how relaxing the calls are for them, how the right person is showing up, because there's the marketing's been done in the right way, and the pre-enrollment process has been done in a right way. So people are really vetted, the right people are showing up to the call, and you're not wasting your time and chasing like these low-end leads, right? And so there's a whole process to raising your prices. It's not just deciding on a number and changing it. It really is something where you're like, this is the problem I solve, and this is what it's worth to somebody to have that transformation, and believing there's enough people out there that definitely want your transformation in the unique way that you provide it to them with your background, with your skills, with your expertise and experience. Um, and this is really working because I have like clients that came to me and they're like kind of starting out, they're doing stuff that's like $200 a month or $200 a session, and within a week of working with me, they have closed a $3,000 client, right? So when you start to move from $200 to $3,000, or if you're more experienced and you're a little bit more further along in your business and you're already doing something at $3,000, going from $3,000 to $5,000, $8,000, you can do the math in your head. You can see how quickly you're going to bust through $10,000 months. That's why I don't even talk about $10,000 months. I talk about multiple six figures, because when you're starting, when you really can raise your prices to high-end premium prices and get those really awesome clients that are so much fun to work with, that's when you have two a month and you're already over $10,000. So I don't even talk about like trying to get to 10,000. We talk about getting to multiple six, and I'm going to talk about that throughout the rest of August. Teach you not just these pricing strategies, but also like how to do launches, how to really set up your business from a CEO mindset, how to show up to your business with a CEO mindset every day, so you're not in the weeds, so you can be the visionary, so you can like push your business forward. So that is what I'm going to be doing all month, and really kind of pulling back the curtain on what I do within my business and what I'm doing for clients and how it's impacting their businesses like really dramatically, really quickly. And yeah, I will be launching something, and I will probably start talking about it a bit more next week or the week after. It is going to be a fall, a mastermind that is going on in the fall. I hate calling it a mastermind because it's unlike anything that's out there. It is a hybrid program where you get really amazing support, deep healing support around your limiting beliefs, your scarcity mindset, your not enough shit, your imposter syndrome, all of those things that come up being a business owner, the loneliness, and you get the awesome community to support you. You get accountability, implementation time, bringing in all sorts of fun, awesome experts in the field in different fields to help us really bring this strategy to life. That's going to be more of like my part, bringing the strategy to life, bringing launching to life, bringing pleasure into this whole scenario, desire, how to trust your feminine leadership skills and abilities, and how that really helps you to surrender and to run a multi-six-figure business with ease. And then, of course, the team that you need to build around you. It's not an extensive team. It's just a few people. How you structure that, how you structure the back office and the systems to take yourself out of the weeds, to stop having it be so heavy and let you really live and enjoy and build and have a multi-six-figure business with ease. It is called, so I'm calling this the magnetic mindset multiplied, right? So what happens when we multiply? What happens when we really start to bring in all of these pricing strategies, bringing in the marketing, bringing in the offer, bringing in the enrollment stuff, starting to launch like group offerings, and knowing how to speak in some of the like free master classes that you offer, those types of things, so that the effort that you put out really gets met, right? You're not just tossing this stuff out there and it doesn't have the right confident energy behind it, doesn't have the right alignment behind it, there's fear-based energy in it, then that stuff doesn't work, right? So really doing the inner healing and that work to up-level your mindset, shed all that shit, shed the layers, have your true heart's desire, your aligned offering come out, and then what do we do with it so that we fucking rocket ship you to multi-six figures. So I really, this is for someone who is a bit further along in their business, at least, making 5,000 to 8,000 a month, but they've been hovering at that level for a long time. If you're a little bit below that, definitely talk to me, because maybe it's just a few tweaks and you actually like are kind of mentally at that place of the person who's operating 5,000 to 8,000 every month. But really someone who is ready to go. That's like, I'm done with this shit and I want the strategy, I want the community, I want to do the inner work, I want to feel better in my business, I want to have all this be easy, I want to impact more people and have it be less draining and taxing on myself. So that is what's coming up. If you want to get on the wait list, if you want to talk to me, definitely send me a DM. You can comment in the comments right now and I will reach out to you, or you can send me an email, Jackie@JackieSimic. But yeah, we are definitely going to be giving way more of the strategy and the insights and pulling behind the curtain of what's been going on so that you can do this. But really think about whether you want to do this in a community, in a place where you're supported, in a place where you get the exact strategies and all the access to me, to a team that's going to support you, and whether you're ready to make the back half of 2020 be the time that you decided that like that's it and you're ready to go and have a completely different business next year, have a completely different experience of like running a business in the multi-sixes. So it's your decision to make. And I'm here to empower you and to help you make it and support you throughout the whole time. So that is it for today. I'd love to hear any insights. What was like the biggest thing that you had that you are going to address in your own business? Is it the mentor model? Is it fixating too much on the price? Or is it raising your prices because they were just too low? So just drop in the chat. Let me know what you took away, your key takeaway. And next week, what I have on the docket for next week is really going into feminine-based energy versus masculine-based ways of running business. And probably what you've been taught up until now has been so masculine-based because let's just face it, that's who the biggest leaders are out there right now. And that's what they're showing us as examples. And women have been primed for a long time to not value our feminine-based leadership skills. And honestly, so much of what you guys are bringing to other people is feminine-based stuff. And so really, how do we step fully into that so that we feel supported, we feel integrated, we feel in the flow of our connection with source and creation? That's our job here, is to create. And, how do we bring that energy into our businesses so that we feel really good? All right. I have a fly in here. I don't know how it got in here. The windows are always closed. All right. So raising prices is a good takeaway. Awesome. Yes. So that is it. I'm going to jump off if there's no other questions. Does anyone have any questions? By all means, please let me know if you have any questions. If there's anything I can clarify, if you're like, I get it, Jackie, I get what I have to do, but I'm scared. I don't know how. Just pop it into the chat. I'll just hang for a second because there is a little bit of a delay. Awesome. All right. All right. Anyone have any last minute questions? Anything I can clarify? Anything I can help you implement in your own business? Just pop them in the chat. And I think that week after next, we're actually going to move this whole thing to Zoom because I'm going to have some slides and some spreadsheets that I want to share with you guys. So I think that the 17th we will be in a Zoom, and then we'll be much more in a place where we can chat back and forth and see each other and stuff like that too. All right, so I don't see any questions coming in, any implementation stuff. I do see that there are a number of you still hanging. So thank you so much for sticking with me through the end, through all of this. I hope that it was really impactful to your business. And yeah, reach out if you are looking for more support, if this idea of being fully supported in a small and intimate community of like-minded light workers and having the support and doing some of the internal work, this is the best way to work with me right now. I do not have any one-on-one spots for the remainder of 2020, but you definitely get all of my theories, my access, my analytical intuition, all the ways that I show up and serve. Yes, Monica, I know about some of the Zoom versus live, and honestly, I don't want to deal with it. So I I get to choose. All right, so we'll figure it out. Maybe I will deal with it. Maybe I'll ask somebody on my team. I pick and choose my battles. All right. Love you all. Thank you so much for being here. Thank yourself for being here because this is an investment in yourself. It's an investment in your business. It's an investment in the way that you show up in the world. And that is truly, at the end of the day, my mission is to raise the vibration of this planet. And I believe that happens through every single person that I touch and that I work with, whether it's here, whether it's in my private practice, whether it's in my group offerings. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So much love from my heart to yours, and have a most amazing Monday and the most amazing week.